Hi folks, hope you're doing well. So, yeah, last night's video that's just been put on now. Very uncomfortable listening. Well, for a lot of people, they will not accept it. There will be a few dislikes on that one. Yes, because it's difficult hearing. If you've been someone that's nasty things have happened to, you don't want to believe that God did that. The reason why you don't want to believe that is because you've been treated like, and you've accepted your nature now as a victim. That wasn't supposed to be the purpose. But people get around you very quickly when you've suffered something nasty and treat you like a victim. Well, yeah, when that happens, if you adopt the victim mentality, of course you don't want to think that God has done that. But if you understand that you've gone through something, that word Invictus is more likely to be what fits you, because you are not a victim. You know, yeah. Read the Word of God. Where does the Word of God describe His people as victims? It doesn't. But you see all the way through the Old Testament horrendous things happening to God's people. Why? Because generally speaking, we're human. And because we're human and we're not little babies, we go wandering off all the time. And God tries to get our attention, or tries to deal with whatever is in us. And yeah, we are resistant. And so therefore He needs something stronger, something more powerful to do that. Yeah, the gentle approach isn't working. And that is the case with most of us. Yeah. It was the case with me. Well, it's also about shaping. Yeah. As I say, imagine that you're a piece of wood. Every single chip of that wood, if that wood could feel, yeah, that chisel going in, that would be horrendously painful, wouldn't it, really? But you're being shapen, and that's the point. We've got analogies, about God, and when God is dealing with you, like some say, you're in a hot place and the Lord comes and looks down and He says, well, I'm not ready yet. And it's like you're a cake in the kitchen, a cake in the oven. So, yeah, the problem is, okay, that applies a certain amount of heat, but what we're talking about is extreme. Look at how diamonds are made. Yeah, extreme heat, extreme pressure. Yeah. Well, the things in nature are a teaching for us, because we're not that different. For us to be turned from a walking zombie of the world into a diamond for God. A lot of people would say, well, just leave me as a zombie then. And God says, okay. Yeah. Well, say to me, I don't identify with people that are victims. Well, because even me, I've gone through enough stuff that I could easily accept the label of victim. But that's not going to help anyone, is it? It doesn't help you, and it doesn't help anyone else. Because victim mentality is of this world. You can't be of this world and of God. You can't. You've got to choose. But I know, that sort of video is very difficult to hear for those in things right now. It is. However, I don't think it really compares whenever you're going through to what the Jewish people went through in the camps. And yet God was there with them. It was his will for all of those things to happen. So therefore, if that sort of horror could be God's will, I say we read in the story of David, don't we? That there are some people now who are trying to have a child and they've lost the child they were trying to have. The child died in the womb. For all things of that nature, there is a reason. All things of that nature. They don't just happen. The fact that people think these things can just happen, or the devil can do these things, and it's against the knowledge or will of God, would suggest we have a weak, pathetic God. When you understand they happen for a reason, that all these things happen, you might not understand the reason for now. It might take a long time for you to understand the reason. But there is a reason. There is a reason for all things. And when you understand that, we'll put it this way. David and I think it's Bathsheba, is it? His second wife. Their initial child was killed in the womb by God. Because David got Bathsheba's previous husband killed. So he could have this beautiful woman all to himself. Now the punishment for that was that that child would die. But that child went straight to heaven. Had a wonderful time with God and still is having a wonderful time with God. Yeah. Look at how David reacted. Did he see himself as a victim? Well, and you say, yeah, but that's David. How am I expected to be like David? David didn't have the words of the Lord. He didn't have all of the testimonies and words of the apostles and the writers of the New Testament. He didn't have all those teachings that we now have. He didn't even have his teachings. Well, not a lot of them, because a lot of them were written afterwards. So, yeah, I suppose so. So, yeah. You have tools available to you that he didn't have, that tell you who you are. Yeah. The reality is terrible things do happen, but they always happen for a reason. There's always a purpose behind it. Now, for us, again, part of the reason why it's difficult to understand is because there are, 6 billion people on this planet? And terrible things have happened to probably around about 3 billion of them. And there could be 1 billion of them right now that terrible things are happening right at this very moment in time. Yeah, so, yeah. So with all that being the case, it does seem as if it's one heck of a bloody job. You know, that God intends for all these, and he's overseeing all this stuff at the same time. Well, that's what being a God is about, isn't it, really? That's why we can't do it. That's why when anyone acts as if they know more than God, it's just funny because yeah, you couldn't. Yeah. So, yeah. There you go. We shall see what the situation will be. Hopefully, you can understand who you are. If you've been going through stuff and you can understand the purpose. The devil will try to get in, but he's going to try and get in through any way he possibly can anyway. So, yeah, just understand it. Come to a point of maturity of understanding that we have a very big God who's capable of very big things. And very big purposes. So, there you go. You take care. Bye-bye.